We didn't speak about a presidential pardon. I got his number, and then I called him. We spoke about other things, and then we agreed we'll make time to meet.
Other things like what?
No, our things. It was a private call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when do you envision, and what is the case are you going to make to the president?
No. And I've not made that call because the judgment is not what you guys are saying. The judgment says the Department of Correctional Service must still make a decision.
Sure.
So I can't go to president and talk about a non-existing decision.
But you would.
But if they say he must go back, I will go to him and argue my case with him that the guy is sick, the guy is old, his struggle credentials, his service to the public office, and the fact that he served time in prison, and fact that parole on its own does not mean you are free. You are still continuing to serve even from outside. It's enough for you to give him a presidential pardon to avoid a possibility of instability which was experienced yesterday.
I just have one very quick question.
Yeah.
You faced a lot of criticism at the State of the Nation address when the EFF, pounced the stage where President Cyril Ramaphosa was addressing the nation, and there's a sense of fatigue in society about the EFF sort of taking this kind of violent positions, whether it's storming stores or that type of thing. And we saw it, you've done it many times at State of the Nation address. You are 10 years old now. Like you're saying, you can pick up the phone and speak to President Ramaphosa. So there seems to be a disconnect between the political maturity that you have when you engage with political leaders and then what the theatrics that we see on television and what South Africa sees. Can you just reflect on that a little bit? Thank you.
It's a protest, and it has got no formula. If you have not been to the picket lines, you will know that protest does not have a formula. Parliament is the highest stage of protest. When I climbed on the stage, I carried with me a placard, and I was going to silently protest on the stage. It is permissible, it is allowed, for as long as it doesn't have the party logos. But because you want to define how people should protest, you have a problem with how the EFF protest. I can talk to President Ramaphosa on the phone. I can greet him on the phone. I remain an opposition member. I've got my right to still protest. And that's maturity of politics in South Africa. There's nothing violent about that. And in most cases, once the EFF does what we did in Parliament, you are guaranteed to see another parliament doing the same thing that the EFF did. You need to ask yourself a question. Which rules did they break in Parliament? If we have not broken any rule, why do you have a problem with that? We are still members of Parliament. We are not charged because there is no rule we broke in Parliament. And then once there is no violation of the rules, you can't say no, it's a problem. I mean, the other day I said, in the EFF we encourage people to donate 95,000 below the threshold. And then the journalists call around, why do you do what you are doing? And I said to the spokespersons, tell them you are not violating any law. You are saying to people, comply with the law. If you say on 120 zone, Floyd, drive 119, why would a traffic cop stop me and ask me, why are you driving 119 on 120? So they just, even when you do something that is illegal, because it comes from your mouth, they want it to sound like it's illegal. If John Steenhuisen had done that thing I did, these questions were not going to be asked. So John, even after that day where we now resorted to taking up the placards, and it is because they said no one is going to speak now, it's done. You're not. Then we decided, okay, since you are refusing us to speak, we take out the placards. We are going to protest in silence. Then they pushed us out. What happened? Which media wrote about John Steenhuisen speaking after people were chased out, told not to speak, and they insisted on speaking? John spoke. You know what saved John? The color of his skin. You look at how the ANC treats the DA in parliament and treat the EFF. John, if he does the same thing that they said we can't do, they dare not touch them. They love their whites like that.